when you start burning fat, when you start replacing that fat and burning muscle, it is going to increase your masculine edge. And for my ladies, it's going to increase your femininity as well. Okay, but this is mainly for the fellas out here that want to get in shape and want to know a good side effect of getting in shape. See, getting in shape isn't just some shallow surface level, post a few Instagram stories to get thirst trap comments from thotties. Okay, I know a lot of my fellas want that, and you will receive that if you so please, if that is what you want. More importantly than any of that bullshit, because I talk a lot about sort of surface level stuff, but I also include more deeper aspects of it if you really pay attention. But a deeper side effect or a deeper benefit of getting into shape, losing that excess adipose fat, that subcutaneous fat that's surrounding your organs, you know, that's also called visceral fat. A lot of that fat that's surrounding your organs and compressing on them. And I've heard a lot of people say that I'm fat and I'm healthy. Let me give you an unfortunate news flash. No such thing. Because if you have visceral fat, that fat is not dormant, okay? Fat isn't just chilling there as an inanimate object. It is actually a living cell. Fat is actually a living cell, and it is actively working against you if it is in excess. I'm not talking about regulated fat. I'm not talking about, because there's healthy fats too, okay, that help with testosterone and things of that nature. But when you have that excess visceral fat, that's going to be working against you, and that subcutaneous, those nasty jelly rolls. Back in the day, we used to call them jelly rolls, aka love handles. Those things are working against you. This is a fact, okay? But before I start that, this is Tarik Talks. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. Thank you so much for all the support. My channel is growing, and I appreciate you guys. This is a fact. This is not something that is bro science. This isn't something that is circulated through these fitness / red pill manosphere spaces. But if they are saying it, and a lot of them do say it because it's fact. And the fact is that extra fat is turned into estrogen. When men have extra fat, it turns into estrogen. Literally gives you more female hormones. This is a fact. If you don't believe me, guys that have excess fat develop man boobies, aka gyno. What is it called? Somebody correct me in a comment section. I'm gonna remember the name in a little bit, okay? But basically, it's when men develop breasts as a woman. You know, they got big old tatas, they got big old tetas, and they have very pointy nipsies, okay? They got very pointy nips. That is estrogen at work. When you have excess fat, that is what starts happening. Men start developing wider hips like a woman does. They start having birthing hips. And I'm not being funny. I'm being for real. I've gone through that phase of having tatas with the pointy nip naps. Even though I cut that short, right? I wasn't letting that slide for too long. But the point is, you're gonna start developing female hormone. You're gonna develop way more than what a man needs, than what is healthy for a man. This is what happens when you have too much subcutaneous visceral fat. Like I said, visceral fat is that deep fat that's hugging your heart, hugging your liver, all those vital organs, right? When you start losing that fat, as men, when you start losing that excess fat, it's gonna make you more aggressive. You will start, a lot of people say when they're cutting down weight and they're starting to lose fat, they get irritable. One of the side effects is you get irritable. And yes, some of that has to do with you not eating that processed crap, and your body is kind of going through a detox. Kind of like how you get off heroin and stuff. Hey man, sugar is a powerful drug, refined sugar. Unhealthy foods are extremely addictive. Donuts, that was my poison of choice. Honey buns, chili cheese fries, double butter bacon wrap burger stuffed cheese bun sandwiches. You feel me? All of these type of processed junk shit is extremely addictive because it's made of chemicals, right? So other than that, it is your testosterone coming into play as well. When you start losing fat, you start gaining more muscle, you will notice you start having more of an edge about you. When you have excess fat as a man, you're usually extremely sluggish, you're usually extremely slow, you're usually very fatigued, very moody, right? Very you'll notice a lot of big guys, man, very moody, very feminine type of attributes. And I'm not talking trash because I've been there before. They're kind of softer physically and, you know, emotionally, stuff like that. They're just very soft. When you start losing that fat, you start getting in the gym, weight training. This is why this is so important. This is why there's a whole movement, body game movement. Shout out Rom Wills. This is why there's a whole movement, because it's deeper than what these dorks try to portray it to be. They try to downplay it. They try to downplay losing weight and building muscle as this stupid, sort of superficial, like unnecessary. They'll revert to shit like, man, that's stupid. Just get money and all that bull crap. Money is not going to reduce your estrogen from excess fat. If you do have money, that is awesome. Every man should, but it's not going to reduce that estrogen. When you start decreasing that fat, you're going to start getting that masculine drive. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to start moving faster. Okay? Now, all of a sudden, you're going to be a little more assertive. If there's something that you don't like, you're going to straight up say no. A lot of you guys are in relationships, okay? I'm going to get kind of brutal here for a little bit. A lot of you guys are in relationships and your female sees you as the weaker person. She sees you as weak, and you can't really blame her, right? I would, if you know, I was on the outside looking in at a guy that is extremely obese, extremely overweight, is very soft. All he eats is ice cream. All he eats, eating like a child, basically. And once again, I'm not trying to be demeaning, but chicken tenders. No, let's start with the breakfast. A whole bunch of processed coffee drinks, you know, going to Starbucks, getting that Frappuccino or iced mocha and all. That's 500 calories of nothing off rip. 500 calories of straight sugar. Let me put this in perspective. My normal breakfast is ground turkey and 5 eggs. That right there barely touches 400 calories, right? Barely touches 400 calories, and it's packed with nutrients, packed with healthy fats, packed with protein. Now a Frappuccino or one of those Starbucks drinks, whatever, Dutch Bros, whatever. One drink is like 500 calories with no benefits. But that is the average person's breakfast, right? Lunch might be some chicken tenders and some fries and donuts. Dinner is a whole pizza. You guys get what I'm saying, okay? So your old lady, wifey, girlfriend, significant other is looking at you, and, you know, she's peeping that you're getting bigger and bigger and softer. Not only softer physically, but softer emotionally, softer mentally. If you have kids, your kids aren't going to respect you. Harsh truth, fellas. But this isn't to demean. I'm telling you guys the benefits of losing fat, okay? So when you, start losing that weight, all of a sudden, if you do have a girl, you got a wife, you have an old lady, a sneaky link, whatever type of relationship, now all of a sudden, you're being more assertive. You're being more assertive with her, And she's starting to notice this. She's starting to notice your face slimming down. She's starting to notice your man boobs disintegrating. She's starting to notice your jelly rolls going away. She's starting to notice your wide ass decreasing. Your birthing hips start to dwindle down. You know, now you have that nice waistline going on. You got the broader shoulders. But this is, unfortunately, I'm gonna tell you guys something, and I don't mean to be a buzzkill. Only a small percent of men will ever achieve this, not because of genetics, not because of the government, not because of their baby mama being a B word, not because of their job, not because of their kids, but because they're not going to change their habits ever. They're never going to put that cup full of beer, never going to put that cup full of liquor mixed with 3 different kinds of juices and Coca-Cola and Sprite. You know, they're never going to put those hot wings down and chili cheese fries. So most men aren't going to see this type of result. But when they do, the lucky ones that make it out of the fat matrix, I'm going to call it that, when they finally take the red pill, so to speak, and they get out that matrix of being overweight, all of a sudden, they're like, dang, I'm feeling more assertive, man. I feel more powerful. I could finally say no. I'm going to say no to way more things. I'm not going to be as nice, and I don't really care if I hurt somebody's feelings, because I feel better physically, mentally, and emotionally. And this is what losing fat, right? Fellas, I'm going to tell you this. If it wasn't for me being on Body Game for so long, even though my physique was not perfect at all times, still isn't, I'm still a work in progress, and I'm going to be working out until the good Lord calls me home, you know. But even when it wasn't perfect, that the main reason why I was dropping videos every single day since 2020, I've been dropping videos almost every single day. Almost. I might have missed some days. Hell, when I had my baby girl a couple months back, a year or so back, I was missing like a month or so. But that testosterone, right? That masculine drive is like, forget that. Hell no, you need to start making videos again. That came from working out. That came from gradually losing that weight. You know what I mean? That came from me having that urge, that masculine urge. And when you are very overweight, I'm not saying that there's not successful people that are overweight. Don't get it twisted. But if those people were to get in shape, they would start, man, they would 2 times what they're doing. They would skyrocket 2 times what they're currently doing. And getting into shape is extremely imperative for men, because like I said, that excess fat that you have, that adipose fat, that subcutaneous is under the skin, basically all that visible blob of excess weight, it is actively working against you. It's not some kind of dormant substance. It's not a dormant material. It is very much alive. Everything in your body, all the cells inside of you are alive. They move through the body, circulate. They have their own little movements. They have their own things that they react to. They're like, it's like your body is another ecosystem. Literally, your body is another organism in itself. So don't think fat is just this dormant, it's lying around. Oh, you know, even though I'm not in, even though I have excess fat now, it'll be all good. No, that crap is working against you actively. And it's turning into estrogen. And you don't want that. You don't want to have man boobies. You want to lose that. And I still can't remember the name of that. I think it's shoot. I forgot what the hell it's called. Someone tell me what that condition is when men have enlarged breasts like women. And 9 times out of 10, probably for 90% of the times is because they have excess fat. I am out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.